Everyone thinks poor people are just bad with money, that they're careless, that they make stupid decisions, that they don't know how to save. But Morgan Housel says that's not the real story. He explains that when you don't have money, you don't just lose income, you lose control over your life. You lose the ability to choose what to do, where to go, how to live, and over time, you start feeling stuck. No opportunities, no options, no way out. And that's when something dangerous happens. You stop thinking about the future. You stop caring about long-term plans. Because what's the point if nothing seems to change? So instead, you start chasing anything that gives you even a small moment of relief. A lottery ticket, a risky bet, a random purchase you don't really need, not because you're stupid, not because you don't understand money, but because for a few seconds, it gives you something powerful, hope that maybe, just maybe, things could change overnight. And when that hope is the only thing you have, you hold on to it, even if it costs you everything. So maybe the real problem isn't that people are bad with money. Maybe the real problem is what happens to your mind when you feel stuck, with no control and no way out. Morgan Housel explains something most people never take the time to understand. People don't waste money because they're bad with it. They waste money because of how they feel about their life. When you feel stuck, when you feel like no matter how hard you try, nothing is moving, when your income barely covers your life, saving money doesn't feel like progress. It feels invisible. It feels like you're sacrificing today for a future you're not even sure will come. And that's where the mindset starts to shift. Slowly, without you even noticing. You stop thinking like an investor, and you start thinking like someone trying to survive the day. You wake up tired. You go to work. You come back with no energy. And your brain is not asking for discipline. It's asking for relief. Just something small to make you feel like your day wasn't just stress and pressure. And that's where spending becomes emotional, not logical. You don't buy things because you need them. You buy them because they give you a moment of escape, a moment where you feel in control again, even if it's fake, even if it's temporary. And the same thing happens with risk. People don't take crazy financial risks because they're stupid. They take them because they feel like they have nothing to lose. Because when you feel stuck long enough, even a small chance of changing your life feels worth more than staying where you are. And this is why some of the people with the least money take the biggest risks, not because they don't understand the danger, but because staying the same feels even worse. And over time, this creates a cycle. You feel stuck, so you spend or take risks. Then things don't improve, so you feel even more stuck, and the cycle repeats again and again and again until it becomes your normal. But here's the truth that changes everything. The goal was never to look rich, because looking rich is easy. You can borrow money, you can spend everything you have, you can impress people for a moment, but behind that image, there is no control, no security, no peace. And that's the part nobody sees. The real goal is something much deeper: freedom. Freedom to choose your life. Freedom to say no without fear. Freedom to walk away from anything that doesn't respect you. Freedom to take your time and think long term. And that kind of freedom doesn't come from making more money only. It comes from keeping it, from saving it, from building a gap between what you earn and what you spend. even if it's small at the beginning, because that small gap is what slowly gives you control back. Every time you save money, you're not just saving cash, you're buying space. Space to breathe, space to think, space to make better decisions, instead of reacting to pressure all the time. And that's when everything starts to change. Because when you finally feel a little bit of control, you start thinking differently. You become more patient. You become more intentional. You stop chasing quick wins. And you start building something real, something stable, something that actually lasts. So, next time you see someone wasting money, don't be so quick to judge, because what looks like a bad decision on the outside is often someone trying to deal with something on the inside, trying to feel a little bit of control, trying to feel a little bit of hope, trying to escape a life that feels stuck. And maybe, if you're honest, you've done it too, not because you didn't understand money, but because in that moment, you just needed to feel better. And that's the part most people ignore. They say, just be disciplined, just save. But they don't realize it's hard to think long term when your present feels heavy. It's hard to be patient when nothing around you is changing. And that's why understanding this changes everything. Because once you realize that money decisions are emotional, you stop blaming yourself and you start asking better questions. You stop chasing quick relief and you start building real control. Little by little, step by step, decision by decision. Because at the end of the day, it was never about money. It was about freedom. The freedom to choose your life. The freedom to say no. The freedom to walk away from anything that doesn't serve you. And that kind of freedom is built quietly, over time, through the choices nobody sees. So now ask yourself, are you spending to escape your life or saving to finally take control of it? And if this made you think differently about money, make sure you like, comment, and follow for more.